No. All right. So what was the cause of the feedback echo no? Because initial Akasane be perfect. Then later they start going to feedback echo. Into your okay side. Okay. All right, let's start here. Video.
I was at one, your friend Carla Boss, the only boss with what is. Do you know about TapTapSend? TapTapSend is one of the easiest, convenient, reliable money transfer app you can get. You can download TapTapSend on Google Play Store or App Store. We download it and then you register. Register and you are good to go to send money across every place, many countries in the world. TapTapSend. Why wouldn't that happen?
All right, Bushafo, Yamamuna, Akaba Kessie, Eba HITV, so Yamamu Akaba Kessie, so Eba time with TapTapSend. So, now, and there, your program is going to be more or less a different approach. I bet when it comes to land acquisition. I know, sir, we've treated this topic before, and people wanted to know how it works in different angles. A bit more messy, yes, also treated with UK side so, but in their approach they be different. We're gonna take it through a different back door and just see the different perspective of it. It's Sabre no memo be PR kwaba kese pa eba so. Dwumadie bi a wodi a wasai wadaje a onye ba bedi dwumadie ye ni so ye ka say ye da wase koso a eni ni dwumadie na enye kama. Na anse de be sha ase de be kwagona kokoda aboafo ase na afede ye da aseda kese amomo. Teach you the kind of feel good services. Also say about motivational speaker and say be a mental health education be a promotion akwa na afede omo ne eni nkita ho. Feel good service so asa ahwe hu say ehia say obepe bia obetimi di uti ato asase na apa ato ebiom ye ba be ka asase ho nsem right enti say bia opese customize wo buildings and I say bia o condo bia opese customize na bia bibisa feel good service say to obetira kwan na afedie bibia enya kama omo number na 513 372 5758 and I say Ghana number na 233 plus 223 208 149 504 and our contact you on feelgoodservices@gmail.com. Our locations may be East Legon Hills, Pokwase, Napidio, Omino, any incomo. Come on. Happy glory, say bra, never to chew now. Oh, yeah, Bama, when I'm the day, I said some paper, or better than the Naboja April Wumpa, Miss Rao, for happy glory, Napidia, Neko, Echo Yawa 9. Pedicure, manicure, and I say be a facial with eyebrow, and I say be a eyelash threading. Pomechra kwa wa Shaman Estates, right opposite the Veggies and Grill. Na fide bibia enya kama. Happy glossy, beauty pronounced. Sasubium na make come for Oswald Wellness Clinic. Amamo in the Makadi. Oswald Wellness Clinic. Ese bra, some family nurse practitioner, and I say IV hydration, and a primary care, and I say weight management. Bra na fide omuno eni kita ho. Na bibia enkoso kama. Omo licensed are both Ohio and Maryland. Into say uwo US abrochime mu na wo Maryland and I say Ohio a pomechira kwa na de onyomu ni nkita ho ebiom oye bema na pese oye kama na usi dwema amanfo be hu say yiwo bema na esi kroma na mekanfo London Bespoke ama say eye event bia wo ko with the exception of divorce party nya kani nyina omoye omo say bra na afedie omo pam suit na na ho kama na oyo oba so a omo si di be ma na chi na ne bra no be pam kama say ye wedding say ye bibia say ye even corporate wear e mani nyina omo pam ema mo so kama hwehwe Blondin Bespoke echa kwan ewo what Instagram and at Blondin_Bespoke and I say omo number no contact or WhatsApp +233 500 915 389 me that say TapTapSend or say ope kwan ya be fa so asene sika ko fie na ye safe, secured, reliable Unni Habia when it comes to the rate. Download the app no our Apple Store and also be a Google Play Store. Or download it for promo code HRE HM. Or the shema on your first transaction. Remember $15. Come on. Nyama bebre na Tatapsen a year when it comes to the corporate social responsibility. So I'll share all the big music awards. It was Kosu Kroban say Tatapsen Edimo Akotene pa Edimu Tintima pa ye. So also now a lot of events are also Tatapsen are sponsor. Ni na ye wo patronage or the ama Tatapsen and no so nya kakra e de ma community ne back into Misrao. So why ye da fra wunia na wunia so nye. Na sa wunia no so mfre ni nua na onye. Bodero na manenka biasa fa nyina ye bob from 3 to 3 east to west north to south Tatapsen papa no sabre ya yada aboafo ase na afede ye abro yi puma wokwam ne ba be hye na ase no be fa akonya ye so asa ka kire se mesro afe na wa ba share Zoom link no ema wunia na share Facebook no link no so ma wunia ni YouTube ye live on Facebook Tatapsen Ghana HITV and I pick up for essence. So also near live on YouTube, HRE TV. Yena mase. Sabre mi da se da kese so be man be producer director Nana Lord, Anna A class, Anna Danny, editors at large, omobo jumedi kama baby a omo bia. Nti sraw. Sa afi no aba so dia, jumedi a waba so ni ya to the time with Tatapsen. Sabre me Fred director David. Na waba mai any update bia Tatapsen e wo mai any secret bi so me nya ntie ya information bia obe break it down amaye me saso aka biam say Dr. David Eba no na ma on refi say Tatapsen bronya bonanza no e course of the day if you send money with the record October can start you with the send money from October go see December now it grants you the eligibility to fall into the draw no send na also no emredu ni ye bobo a ubetimi ewini bibi na emu de wompa ni plane ticket no last 2 years year last year this year so Tatapsen SIA biom enti no hwe na mpa ho na pa ho a this afi Dr. David ye ma kwa baba djumedi so
PK, thank you so much. Good evening. Thanks so much for having me. And we have the entire team here. Lawyer, thanks so much for making the time for us. Lawyer Pacho, I know it's super late, so thank you so much for making the time for us. Yeah, that's a part. Sure. Thank you. Sure. Any update from Tatapsen? I think what is it? A class because I can't before at the moment. No, our rates are healthy in the market. Into I want to bempa. Into I don't download it. Please download Tatapsen. Now for send you pushing for Ghana. That's one thing. Secondly, as PK kind about your Christmas brunch actually. What it means is we're giving away $50 Amazon gift cards we're giving out 5 different Amazon gift cards each week. We'll send it €300 and not $300 and not £300 the prior week out. We do a draw every week. You get a chance to win. We're doing that all the way to December 28th. December 28th, and we do a grand draw where you can win a plane ticket. Across Canada will get one, US will get one, Eurozone to Great Britain. We'll all get a chance to win a ticket. Now, we're also giving away flat screen TVs, smart TVs, air fryers, and blenders. So we're giving a lot of giveaways come December. That's the latest with Tap Bronya, and it's still ongoing. So every week, so as you send it, that is the latest. I think PK picked on something that I was really happy about. We're still doing advocacy in the communities. This month, Apata, meaning we will come to your church, we'll support the event that you have, and we'll talk to some of the congregation members who use our solution. And that's the update. Lawyer, I know it's late, so I'm not going to talk you to death. I'm going to let you get right ahead of it. PK, right back to you. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
All right, yeah, that's it. Director David, that's it very much. Lawyer, Akwaba eba djumedie so your first time yenya wo ewo djumedie so da wase so say wase wadaje na oni eba bedi djumedie kama what pop to say
nyame adom
nice one within 2 minutes tell us a little bit about you and also know how people can locate you in case the purpose of we bring you guys on board is say ochina na man for betimi afre mo form services now also no be impact some knowledge and also information onto us. It's Mr. Omay, a quick background of who you are, and also in case people want to contact you in your firm now, any number will be on a native their to chat so now for the contact them.
May I say very for the opportunity, but
Unfortunately, the issue is that with our profession, we cannot advertise. Yes, so it's quite unfortunate that I can't put any number out there for people to call me, because it's one way or the other against our ethics to advertise. I think that's a Ghanaian contest. So I think through this education, our works will speak for us. So we believe that we'll be able to put out the best for people to learn, and also be able to advise them whenever it comes to land acquisition. But briefly, my name is Williams Jedediah Yati. A lawyer with Michelle Williams & Co. And I've been practicing for a while, and my focus has actually been on land and taxation. So basically that is the brief introduction I can give about myself. So when it comes to issues of taxation, when it comes to issues of land acquisition, that is where my strength lies. So basically this is the brief introduction I can give.
All right, yeah, that's it. That's it. Michelle. Okay, you go straight to the point.
Yeah.
But before we even go on, let's start off with this angle. One video now is circulating now. Abrante BC is Legon assassinated now over 900 acres. Ne papa modia, the busia for dia. And now all the court. No, I don't know what's it. As I'm the end here, so as I said, no, I have that dodo. I would have some new court the day. I was going to assassin. Now, we should be a fire. Cocosi. Your friend is say also for Penny Duncan Williams side home in Eba. Oh, lawyer, who goes to 900 over 900 acres, which is about almost 4,000 plots. Or see, now actually, Crampo no ne offer B try to doctor didn't try to sue land commissioner at that time. I know you are very privy to the case. Can you give us a little bit background of what you think, how this can turn out? Again, this is hypothetical, right? And I also don't know what could be a possibility for this to happen, and also don't know if our case are now, if things didn't go right in the beginning, our case something good come out for him. It's because in their case, will be a different dynamic approach.
I believe that there are so many ways of acquiring land in Ghana. So from his point, from his perspective, I believe he can make a claim, say in the past, maybe they acquired it by conquest, or they acquired it by first settlement. Maybe they were the first to settle in the community, or they acquired it by conquest, or they have been there so long, and so by virtue of the fact that they occupied it first as first settlers, they can make
I said 1962.
1962. But what we also have is what we call the compulsory acquisition. Instead, they at a point in their history, maybe the government came to take over that particular portion of land, and maybe the government didn't use it for the purpose of which it was acquired, and maybe allowed individuals to take over that particular area. So if he has a claim in that regard, I believe that if he can make a strong case that it was DS, the government acquired it compulsorily, the government didn't use it for the purpose of which it was acquired, they can make a strong case. But the question is that now people are in occupation of those lands. So, yes, and so how does he establish, and that's what we call the statute of limitation. Then he may be statute barred in bringing an action and all that, and because you've sat there for people to build without saying anything, and people have, in principles of law, we call something estoppel by acquiescence, and you've started, and by your conduct, I don't think it will go far, and I don't think he can establish any proper course of action in court. In my legal opinion, I don't think it will travel that far, because he'll be stopped. He'll be stopped by his conduct, because what a man perform painful witnesses see a dying or in happy or say, oh, assassination 900 acres to acquire. But I don't.
Lord, but ebia no nyo no na hwe ye. Ne papa mu na ebia no mu nim. E no mo hwe ma ne ba sa. E na ebia no na sese no, wasu ade kakra kwa akira won se no. Emra no kire se, obanfa kwan pass na akwa line no. Until we want it back.
No, but in law, there's something called adverse possession. Adverse possession actually runs with the Limitations Act. So that by 12 years, the law says that if somebody comes on your land for 12 years, you don't say anything, you are stopped. The Limitations Act will catch you. You cannot, proceed. And anybody in possession for that longer period can lay claim. Even that claim can even go to the extent of affecting somebody who holds what we call the allodial title. But allodial adverse possession, the only land that adverse possession cannot operate against is public land. It's public land. So far as it's not a public land, adverse possession can actually operate against it. You see, women in break the matter, and I'm sure we will deal with what is adverse possession and all those things. We'll go into
Okay.
that.
And a lawyer, over to you,
So, from what he's claiming, I'm not sure he can.
Into which is leg of landlords sitting in our Omunda.
There's no issue.
Okay. And then the lawyer to us where you till.
Okay. In the basically, I will just run through some few principles of law, and I'll also just run through the basic procedures you can use or you can follow when you want to acquire a land in Ghana. And also there is a new law, which is called the Lands Act 1036. And this Land Act has come to repeat a lot of the old, almost all the laws on land that we had previously. And so now the Act 1036 is the main act that regulates land management and land acquisition in Ghana. So basically, whatever I'll be talking about is based on this law, Act 1036. In the Ghana, we have about 16 regions. And this 16 regions, we've divided it into two. When it comes to land, we have the registrable district and the non-registrable district. So registrable district, registrable district is basically the district that when you acquire a land within those districts, you must proceed to do a title certificate. And the non-registrable district is where when you buy a land in those districts, I think it ends by law, it should end at the deeds registry, where you will have a document that is registered in the deeds registry, but not necessarily a title certificate. In Ghana, we have 16 regions, but only 2 regions are registrable. That is Greater Accra region and the Ashanti region. So Greater Accra region and the Ashanti region are declared by law as registrable districts. All the other regions are not registrable districts. So when you acquire land in Central region, you don't need to really get a title certificate. You may end at the deeds registry. So that is the classification I want you to have at the beginning, from the beginning. Into your registrable district and then non-registrable districts. Greater Accra Ashanti region forms a registrable district. So if you buy a land in any of these regions, you must make sure that you, proceed to the title registry and have your certificate on that particular land. So that is the basic thing that you should know. Secondly, in land acquisition, there is something we call interest in land. And this interest in land, it is very crucial for you to understand the kind of interest that you are getting in land before you even start, making plans, or before you start gathering your money to go and buy land. You must know what interest in land you are going for. Into why you're seeker ready, you don't just rush and go and get the land. You must take your time and know the interest you are going to acquire in the land that you are buying. As we have now, there is no unoccupied land in Ghana. Every land is occupied now, almost every land. It is hardly will we find a vacant land for somebody says, I'm the first settler here, or I got it by conquest. So it doesn't really work that way. And so you must identify an interest in land first. That is the most important thing. So what are the types of interest in land that we have? I think by law, we have quite a few, about 5 or 6 or so per the law. And the highest interest in land we have in Ghana is what we call the allodial interest. The allodial interest actually is the ultimate. It is the highest form of interest a person can hold in land. Now, this allodial interest, the government or the state can have can hold allodial interest. We also have families stools, or what we call the skin and the clans. And even an individual can also have an allodial interest. It is the highest form of interest you can hold in land. And so this form of interest, it is not subject to any control. So when you have it, you don't pay homage to anybody, you don't pay any rent to anybody. It is the highest. It is an interest in land that is the ultimate. You are not, it is an interest in land that you can will it to your children. Okay, you can alienate it, you can sell it to another person. Okay, so that is the first interest that you can establish in land. I think questions will come, so I'll take my time and answer them.
I was going to ask, how do you get that?
So allodial interest can be gotten, one, by first settlement. You were the first to settle in the community. First. It comes by virtue of your first settlement. It becomes you derive what we call the allodial interest in that particular land. So almost settle communities and all those interests. Let me state it. In England, the allodial interest rests with the crown, only the crown, and all other citizens can only get freehold. But in Ghana, the states can get allodial interest by virtue of compulsory acquisition. A family can get allodial interest by virtue of first settlement. A stool can get allodial interest by virtue of conquest, or also by first settlement in an area. Or you can also get allodial interest by gift or by purchase. That is the law. By gift or by purchase. It will be to me at gift. And it is only the person who has allodial interest who can give allodial interest. But now the law has brought out certain interesting things that I think we'll get into that, but I can mention it briefly. That you cannot create these high alt interest out of stool lands and out of family lands, except an individual with this high interest who can also give out this high interest. Okay, so you cannot create this because allodial interest gives you the power to give freehold interest. And by virtue of you giving the freehold, the law now limits the giving of the freehold interest from stool land and from your friends saying family land. And the policy rationale behind this, I think it's clear, because if you are a chief, or you are a king, or whatever position you hold in a stool, or you are the family head, and you give out this freehold interest out of your allodial interest to another person, you are denying the next generation of the family or the stool from benefiting from the same. Because once you give this high interest to another person, that you lose it forever. Because so this law comes to protect family lands and also to protect stool lands. So now, by looking at the law, it is clear that it is only individuals who have allodial interest who can, or who have freehold interest, who can give freehold interest. Please, Claire.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. So that is the allodial interest. So this allodial interest is perpetual. It has a perpetual duration, and it's inheritable. You can inherit it. You can transfer it to the next. If it's a stool land, it's perpetual. If it's family land, it's perpetual. If it's an individual land, it is perpetual. Unless you, the individual, you transfer it to another person. So it is only individuals with that freehold interest who can transfer that freehold to another person. The law restricts the creating of freehold interest in stool land, in family lands. So now, as I say, Ghana, I don't think that is why you must always identify the interest of the person who is selling to you. It's an Ipanica or freeholder. Assassin or a busuafo asase, and I say a kunyebi assassin, and I say individual assassin. So if it is a stool land and the person says, I'm come to give you a freehold interest, Nipaneboa. And I say a busuafo assassin now say of a freehold interest or because the law forbids the creating of freehold interest out of family and stool land. It's a work and brand my son as is here. Now, so by the discussing the allodial interest, it flows to the freehold interest. As I said, freehold interest is more or less like an interest that there is no restriction. Once you have the freehold, you can do anything you want to do with it. It is not subject to any restriction. It is not subject to the payment of any homages or drinks or anything, rents or anything to anybody. with a freehold now, you have the power. You hold it in perpetuity. You can hold it forever. You can alienate it. You can also, by through your will or any other means, you can sell it. You can gift it. You can do whatever you have. So far as you are an individual. Now in Ghana, if you are not an individual, you are a family or a stool, you cannot create a freehold interest. Another funny and interesting interest you can create in land is what we call the usufruct. The usufruct in the American tree and fancy. So maybe by explanation, you will understand the usufruct. The usufructuary interest or the usufruct interest. We know it arises by virtue of the fact that you belong to a stool or you belong to a family. And out of maybe your friend say which okay, let me just use this hypothetical scenario. Your friend say you are a family or a stool with a large tract of land, about let's say 5,000 acres of land, and the stool holds the allodial interest, or the family holds the allodial interest. However, you are a member of this stool or you are a member of this family. Now say, who per se, who could check portion of the land of the allodial interest of that stool or family, who per se who could check portion of it and use it for your own benefit. That portion we could check more and then you find the usufruct interest, because the allodial interest still resides in the stool or the family. All that you get is a usufructuary. That means that you are only getting a portion of that stool land or a portion of that family land by virtue of you being a member of the stool.
Only sure said the word came out of using a fraction of the land now you use so fast try the one bro. As a using a fraction and on the boom no my on my coin word no. Anyways,
I think the spelling is quite different. It's USUFRUCT, usufruct.
I'm not confusing you. The brofa can see
the UARY to make the usufructuary interest or the usufruct interest. So what it simply means is that you belong to a stool, and now say you belong to some family, and the family holds the allodial interest, but the family cannot sell to you. You get it?
You keep your amount. Fire for the so trahonom and also be another settlement.
So you hold that usufructuary interest in that portion, and you always must recognize the allodial holder or the allodial interest holder. You are because a famous one we are usufructuary holder. Like you still you must not what we call, you must not deny the ownership, the allodial ownership. You must not deny. If you do that, you forfeit it. You forfeit that interest that you hold in the land, because you are trying to say nipa no dia asinima o say don kakra no, or no sir. If you are trying to challenge his allodial interest, the law permits them to or what we call you forfeit the land. It will lead to forfeiture. So you don't deny the allodial holder or the interest of the allodial holder. You get it?
Okay.
So that is a usufruct. So this applies to persons who are members of the stool or the family. Now there's another class of people. Another class of people who can also get the usufruct interest. Omo ye non-indigents. Omo nka stool no. But omo so nka ebi omo so nka ebusuan no. But they've settled there for so long, and the law says that they should have settled there for not less than 50 years. In so-called baby to Sakra from Medina for no, Omatina for 50 years. The Ghana people cannot come and tell them that they cannot demarcate portions of those lands. That is them, and settle there. You cannot say that. The law, they've settled there for over 50 years. So once they've settled there for not less than 50 years, the law permits them to create a usufructuary interest by virtue of long settlement. So these persons are non-indigents. They are not members of the stool or they are not members of the family, but by virtue of long occupation, they can also create that usufruct interest. What I say? And there's a third category. These people, they are neither yet members of the stool, almost yet members of the family, almost non-indigence. By virtue of non-indigence, it means that almost to 50 years threshold. The law says they can only be there by the permission of the one who holds the allodial interest. What is here? Usufructuary interest in there in 3 categories. 1, persons who are members of the stool or family, they can create a portion, or they can cut some portions of the unappropriated land. As I said, the virgin aspect of those allodial lands, that's members who can do that. Then the second one is not the members, but non-indigents who have been there for not less than 50 years. So they can also be there. The law permits them if they've been there for 50. So I think if you go to Kumasi, they have the Moshi Zongo, they have the Fancy Newtown. All those people, they've been there for more than 50 years. So remember that they are not part of their Asante stool, or they don't belong to those royal families. But by virtue of long settlement, the law permits them to create that usufructuary interest in them. And there's a third category of people, those who are neither citizens, who are neither members of the stool or family, and who also don't qualify by the 50-year threshold. But they also can create that usufructuary by virtue of consent. By virtue of consent. And so that is the usufructuary.
No, yeah.
But by this explanation, that is the usufructuary interest. So we have the allodial, the freehold, the usufructuary, and we have the leasehold interest. That's what leasehold,
you fall into that category.
That leasehold, I say, Obia in leasehold.
I know you're grassroots, no common floor members.
Nowadays, the Obia.
That's right.
Because you cannot create a freehold in stool land and family land. They give you leasehold. Now, say, they are buying lands and they give 50 years. And stool lands and family lands. Still, people maintain the 99 years. If you're a citizen, some people maintain now do 70 years and all that. Hardly will you see, how do you call it, the 99 years nowadays, because, I mean, so some will give you 70 years, 80 years. And so this leasehold interest, so opening out with leasehold interest, when you leasehold interest, what it means is that maybe still be a Accra na Kumasi and na Hefa, omo allodial title. Omo they can give you a leasehold interest. Lease nature said they are leasing it to you for a period of time. It is for a certain duration. Remember that the freehold is for uncertain duration, and it's in perpetuity. You hold it in perpetuity. However, the leasehold, it is for a certain duration. And what is a certain duration? There is certainty in time. So it can be 50 years, it can be 70 years, it can be 90 years, that can be 99 years. That is a certain, CERTA, a certain duration. That is the leasehold. Now, when you're leasehold, what it means that you can also create another interest in that leasehold to another person. But you must always do that because you're a leaseholder. You must always seek the consent of the one who gave it to you, your headless soul. We'll bet you may create two other interests in that leasehold. And that is, you can also create an assignment, or you can create a sublease out of the leasehold. Leasehold now, when you say, if you're 99 years lease from ABR, family A, and now say the stool A. Now, 99 years, what's NAS as a senator, you find 19 years. It's a with 80 years. 80 years, so one person bet NAS as a senator, you can give out the entire 80 years to another person. When you are giving out the entire 80 years to another person, we call it an assignment. You are assigning your interest in the leasehold to the next person. So what you are giving to the person is not your leasehold. You are giving to the person an assignment.
Okay.
Secondly, when you're 99 years from the stool, however, you've stayed on the land for, let's say, 9 years, I count 90 years. Now, 90 years, no one will be able to into person also benefit from that particular 90 years now. It's a bit of if I say I can't bear 50 years now, Yamia to Zafra, no, with the 100 now. Into 90 years now, cow was at least would now Ukutanimun. Ubetumia will be a sublease of 40 years. In the sublease near assignment, the difference is that with the sublease, there is a remainder of years that will revert back to you before it goes to the original head lessor. That's the sublease. There must be a remainder of the years. Until after 90 years, you can give out 50 of the 90 or 40 of the 90. Now 50. Until after 50 years, so by virtue of when the sublease expires after 50 years, it reverses back to you. Until Obi Obedi Wadiebia will come and benefit from the remainder of the 40 years Naka or 19 or so. Until that is the two that can come out of the leasehold. You can either give a sublease or you can give an assignment. You can either give a sublease or an assignment. And the final interest that we may want to discuss is the customary tenancy. Customary tenancy. But simple terms we is by simple contract. Any ebusa any ebunu system, the customary tenancy. And no is by contract. And no wokona say ebusunye bi ana say obi wasase bia na won na agreement say oh mami wasase na me yedwuma so na afi ne so a ya cha asase ni mu either by 2. Ye chem by 2 any ebunu, ye chem by 3 any ebusa. It ye chem by 2 na wofa fa na mafafa. And na say ebusa no wofa 1/3 na mesuma for 2/3. That is the ebusa system. So that one is simply by in class they used to have this ebusa and ebunu system. Persons who do not or they are not part of the family or the stool, they come there normal by dog. And commercial crops and crops you mudu as a net ya chim either by a bunu system or by the busa system. No matching. So that is so these are the some of the interests that we can have.
Okay.
All right. The freehold, the leasehold, the customary tenancy, the usufruct, and the allodial being the ultimate or the highest form of interest that you can hold in. So basically that is having established this. I think the next point is to move to how then do I acquire land? Now we know the interest. So what are the procedure? What is the process? What is the process? It said, "Who be to me? I can maybe na me chipping before we."
Ebusian for where the better question am I? Say no, any viewers no any your listeners no any media no questions from the beginning. To our question be Mr. Fabra na afide lawyer and for answers in like I said, we've treated this topic before, but on their different angle am I into no what question be on Mr. type of question at all, and now who am you to the reaction button so for who resume sir na ya from no question no lawyer yanko into the question about number more na afide that was
before I make the procedures in from the pre-contract to the post-completion. Let me establish this basic principle that one, if you are a citizen of Ghana, you cannot get a freehold interest in land from a stool land or a family land. You can only get from an individual. Number two, so 1 year Ghanaian, if you are a non-citizen, you cannot create any freehold at all. Non-citizen cannot have a freehold. Non-citizens cannot have a freehold in either stool land, in family land, or even an individual land. Only citizens can have freehold in individual land, but non-citizens cannot have freehold in any shape or form in a stool land, family land, or individual land. So if you are a non-citizen means that 1 year Ghanaian. And this is not defeated by the fact that you are married to a Ghanaian. So 1 year Ghanaian na wa worry obi a 1 year Ghanaian na sa nipa no per se obeto asase o Ghana. Sa nipa no doesn't qualify. You can only get or benefit from these laws if only you are a citizen. But if you are a non-citizen, you cannot get a freehold. In stool land, family land, individual land, you can't. Number two, if you are a non-citizen, you cannot get a leasehold for more than 50 years now. If you are a non-citizen, 1 year Ghanaian, you cannot get a leasehold more than 50 years. More than 50 years. It is a work of Ghanaian by virtue of person using marriage, now better as I say more than 50 years. No, you are not. By virtue of your marriage, the marriage does not make you a Ghanaian. There are processes we do to convert you from whatever citizenship you hold to becoming a Ghanaian, either it was by naturalization or by whatever means. So far as you are a non-citizen, you cannot get a leasehold for more than 50 years. you cannot also register a company in Ghana and think that because the company is a Ghanaian registered company, the company can get the leasehold more than 50 years for you. No, it cannot. If only the shareholders of the company, more than 40% of the shareholders of the company are foreigners, more than 40% of the shareholders are foreigners, then the law says that you don't qualify, you are a non-citizen. You are a non-citizen. But if the foreign shareholders are less than 40%, then that company, it is classified or considered as a citizen, because a company can be is a person. And by definition of person, the law says that a person is either a natural person or artificial person. In the artificial person being a company. So if the shareholders of the company, the foreign shareholders are less than 40%, then that company is considered a citizen of the country for it to be able to purchase a land, and get a leasehold more than 50 years. But if the shareholders of that company the shareholders of the foreign shareholders of the company is more than 40%, then the law considers such a company as a foreign-owned company, and therefore that company is a non-citizen, and therefore cannot get a leasehold of more than 50 years. So that is the law.
Okay.
So now,
question about
what if you were a Ghanaian when you acquired the land for 99, and after 2 years, let me see.
Also, after 2 years, you become a citizen of another country.
So, this is tough. What if you're a Ghanaian when you acquired the land for 99-year lease, and after 2 years, you see, in law, we call something the express mention of a thing leads to the exclusion of all others. And the lawmakers did not take this into consideration when they were drafting this law. So this question is not the answer.
But actually, no. Under dual citizenship law, no. If you're a citizen of a country by birth, and now say be a original citizen of a country, now so we make you another citizenship of a different land, it makes you a dual citizen. So you're still a citizen of that land.
No, you qualify. The dual citizenship does not affect this.
Exactly. I'm just answering his question and say, I think he's still.
Sorry.
And now the question here, if you give up your citizenship. Okay. I thought say be not such say be. For say wuti we your citizen of Ghana, we want asasi bebre. What about America? We the lotto. What about America? What about American citizen? Now we call back. Exactly. So I don't know, you still fall under dual citizenship.
You still qualify. You still qualify to get more than 90 years. You still qualify. You are a dual citizen. The limitations of dual citizenship is for certain positions, not land acquisition.
Exactly.
If you're a dual citizen, you still qualify to benefit under the laws of Ghana. Except that you cannot be the president, parliamentarian, and all those things.
Exactly.
Because of allegiance, and I think it came up in the Supreme Court recently, and the matter is still in court. But if you're a dual citizen, you still benefit. A dual citizen is a citizen of Ghana and can still benefit. But this one, the law is silent on it, so I cannot relate there. But from thinking about it, if you lose your Ghanaian citizenship, the right has already been acquired. If I'm supposed to defend you in court, the right has already been acquired. There has been an accrued or a vested right. You had it. You bought at the time you're a Ghanaian. So, the law cannot go back to affect your right, your vested right or acquired right. It cannot go back to affect it. That is the interpretation I'll put on it. That's the interpretation I'll put on this. I don't think you will lose it, because at the time you bought it, you're a Ghanaian, and you didn't anticipate that you will lose your citizenship, or you leave Ghana and become a citizen of another country, and therefore, no. So I don't think this anticipation was recognized by the law. But once it was acquired at the time you were a Ghanaian, I believe that your right will still run with it. Your right will still run with it. That is the simple answer I can give you. But the law is silent on this particular answer. Okay. Unless you are a dual citizen, or if you naturalize, meaning that you've lost your Ghanaian citizenship, then I think, in my honest opinion, I believe that I can, if I'm making an argument for you, there has been an acquired or a vested right or accrued right at the time you purchased the land, and therefore it will run with it. It will run with it.
Okay.
It will run with it. Yeah. Now let's go to pre-contract to post-completion.
Yes.
When I say pre-contract to post-completion, what do I mean? Pre-contract to post-completion. I just say pre-contract. I say, what do you say? Better as I say. To the time, what as Navy? What as Navy need the documents in a morning? What do you do next? What do you do next? So that is how I'm going to run. It's going to be very short. So when we talk about pre-contract, pre-contract, and I think said the first thing that you must do when it comes to the pre-contract is for you to
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So, questions be about me saying. Okay. Lawyer, your questions be what me saying. So, Obi, I tested about studio how them say. Maybe this studio question at first. I'll say I have a land that states in the land documents that starting from the day of blank 2021 and yearly paying thereof unto the lessers the year rent of 200 Ghana cedis per plot of land to be reviewed every 5 years. What does this mean? So I'll say I have a land that states in the land documents that starting from the day of blank 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 2021 and yearly paying thereof unto the lesser the yearly rent of 200 Ghana cedis per plot of land to be reviewed every 5 years. Okay. Okay. And also a continuous history. So no chine bi no na na de krani ho no ma omomo ayefi be hu say na bibi say ye fi haba. It is say ye hwehwe ya asase a we can still go back and trace it. Okay. And Daniel say, does a contract of sales have an expiration date? Concurrent. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Ebusuafo no misa so kai mo say what question bia Mr. Unmute yourself and ask your question. Enche bia di dwumede ne bebe awieye because lawyer baby won ade asa papa. So say Ghana you 5 hours behind. I mean ahead. Ghana 5 hours ahead. Enye 4 biom. Until right now no, we're looking at about 12 on. Yes, into the be more akokoda sisi because ochina also ko gina wona so prepare cases. It's a lawyer. And yeah pre na wie wo. It's a completion. Post. Okay. 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 All right. We'll probe questions. This are the nyinaa. Okay. Okay. Okay, now lawyer. Okay. Now what if say what to assassin before worry? But worry we now start to say we see dino. That be repeated again. Every day. Into where's your Latin? Into who sit down after marriage? Daniel Wodia. It is maybe all body the music could sit there as I said so, but there's no evidence to say about this cacao. But would himself, of course, say about this cacao. Who yeah, Debbie. It's the same variable and the double equation. Okay. There's a scholarship. Okay. All right. Lawyer. Yeah, that was say papa nyamishra. Maybe mema kwenya for 3 minutes. Na afi de obi wo question bia on mute ne ho no mbo sisi a enye sa dia ye be pon dwumedie no na lawyer etimi akwakoda o chana papa o case also share before December 20th as well di bronya into no Michelle quick o me too one obusa question na lawyer answer quick na fe there ya sorry you media so no into the next 2 minutes say 1 minute aka 2 minutes to Michelle question bia Michelle unmute your ho na fe there busa question no ya ma wati say the registrable district no e Accra ni Kumasi eno de medwene ho amet hey sao sorry the whole two regions ni nyina nti sa ukota amrahia lawyer kan say woni mu amenkyere ba bia wo ewo yi ukoyi bi kwan ni so no hona amrahia wo aha nti tra adenta na wakọ kakra kro bi wo ansa na amrahia abansa na woko straight out koyi bi fi oyi bi akododo wa nti wo te ho krampa yes nice one nti sa wo asase bi wo kutunse drobo aha wo ye du nsawem line no ye ward na bra ntem na fe de nsawem o ka bo de nsawem crowd to timi register so nsawem na say nsawem e registrable district. Okay. Lawyer, you for FA Mafo. Na FA die. FA Mafo. On mute when the busa question real quick. I can 1 minute. Senior nyame adom na so e. Nice one. Very good one. Yeah, that's it. All right, that's it. Lawyer, last question. Daniel say, can you change a lease land to freeway land? I mean, freehold, no, I think it's okay. All right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, mean sure. Lawyer. Yeah, that's it. Say, you turn safra oba. I need to do the BC. Nyankopo che sraw ye sato en safra obi ma empuso ti de biara da. Enti na oba ye pese ye pontem. Se na ye fra wa bebe biom no ngase enkrofo ya na na omo che bi no wan ye no ma me kodai. Ye sraw pa enti do yeah, that's it. And also the wow find out there's something going on that we in the diaspora that needs to hear it as well. So abisraw no am ye sitre na afedie yetimi edia ahyehyɛ egudumedi so na bi be kama that's say if to us after time with tap sense so to buy HIT so ba akwaba kese pa member director at the sign out message abra na afedie ye jaw kwai director. No, yeah, that's it. All right. It's a hanum and any lawyer area here. Sabre, you be corner for the Yadani Bibia Ama director David. Mr. Moa send me a message to say Facebook no not sound anybody no sound never. It is I want to sound new Facebook and now check with device biom. Yeah, check it Facebook sound in here perfect on all Facebook platforms. It's one I want to be no check it. Mr. What questions be asked? Go back and replay the video and everything will be fine. Facebook, YouTube, I'm seeing the say. At this point, it's gonna be a time with Startup Send Q&A, whereby questions, the suggestions, the contributions be our concerning Startup Send beyond Mr. This is the time is going to unfold into Mr. Mofa Munina concepts in Yambra.